What's going on, YouTube? I am East Texas Fisherman. I was about to get my first name there, but I know you don't do that. No, sir, not at all. Y'all ain't getting to know me. Anyways, I'll tell you more about myself in the description if I get some more likes and videos and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, this is my first YouTube video. Sorry, I'm kind of, if I start looking this way a little bit, my camera lens is right here, but my face is right here because I'm recording this on my cell phone. Due to the fact that my webcam camera on my laptop ain't worth nothing. So this is like the best picture quality. So I'd like to apologize if I keep looking right here. So, anyways, this is my first YouTube video, like I said before, and I'm just going to go ahead and come up straight front. I'm going to here talk about some fishing stuff, my ideas of fishing, and give you some advice on my, I don't want to say expertise, but on my profession of being a bass fisherman. I've been bass fishing since I was 5 years old, and I was raised on Lake Fork, and I used to kill them out there with me and my dad. Anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and jump the gun and, I'm going to give you all some useful information, and if you have any information for me, it's like I'll let you know if it's something that I'm not really 100% sure of. If you feel like you can give me a little bit of information on that, I'll give you as much information as I know about something if I know about it, and if I don't, I don't. But I'll try to figure something out for you, man. I mean, I'll go out and do me some fishing with whatever you're having a problem with and see what I can replicate and see if I can get something going. But yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and do a mystery tackle box review, pretty standard. Everybody's doing these things nowadays, and it just kind of seems like might as well do it. See how it's gonna go. And like I said, man, I mean, I'm not a professional. I'm just an everyday. I work every day, and I fish on the weekends. So, I mean, I'd love to change that. I mean, I wish I could work like 7 days a week and work none. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and get this thing started. I'm just gonna go down this list, and just a little list right here. I'm really not gonna worry about the prices, because these boxes are pretty phenomenal. Like, this is a pro box. I think it was 24 month or something like that. Yeah, I believe it was 24 month if you do. However you do it. It also goes down cheaper, but you got to get the longer membership and stuff like that. So, I mean, I got what I can afford for the time, and that's how I'm going to run it. Yeah, I mean, it comes with, I'm just going to go down this list and just pull everything out, which a lot of people do. And everything's already pulled out. There's nothing in that box except maybe a sticker. I mean, if y'all really want to see the sticker, I'm going to go ahead and show it. It is a boom smiley. Yeah, that's with that box. Well, yeah, okay. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing rolling. Get this thing kicked off here. I probably said it like 5 times now, but you'll be all right. Anyways, okay, so first what comes in here is a live target. How's my foot? There you go. Comes in here first is a live target lure, gizzard shad. Nice little lure down here. I mean, up here, because I'm living up in Oklahoma City now. I know it says East Texas Fisherman. I'm from East Texas. And I had to move up here for work because there's really not much of a job market for my skill trade out there. Contrary to believe, but there is my skill trade out there, but it really doesn't. The wages aren't correct. Let me put it like that. But anyways, like I said, live target gizzard shad swim bait lure. I'm not really going to be throwing this a lot, to tell you the truth, just because I really don't know how big the bass get out here, and this is a big old hefty lure. But I'm not saying, if you've been fishing for a while, I mean, you're not going to stop the bass from eating some if he really wants it this big. Like, you can catch a 10-inch bass on a 12-inch stick worm. You can. And so I'm really not going to be throwing this thing a lot. I'll probably start throwing it a lot when I start going to like the rivers and stuff like that, getting that more bigger open water, see if I'm going striper fishing or Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, I'm really not going to throw this thing a lot until I start going to the lakes. I might throw it around the ponds a little bit just to get a feel for it if I catch some good ones in there, or whenever the spawn really starts happening up here, go around and start visually looking around the lakes and see what they got around there. And that's, I mean, the ponds, and that's really going to be the determining factor in this, since it's so big. And if I see some big bass, I will throw it. I will throw this a lot, just depending on the right conditions. I mean, high skies, clear blue skies, high pressure, I'm not throwing this thing at all. No. I mean, I could. I'm not saying I'm not going to catch anything, but my personal experience, I've never really had high luck on a swimming bait with high skies. Yeah, I mean, it's a really good lure. I got like 3 of these things. I actually got all 3 of the colors. I don't have any of the perch. I got the threadfin shad, got the gizzard shad, and I can't remember the other one I got. But yeah, I like me some swim bait fishing. And the next, that's actually for $10, and I got mine for sale at Academy for actually $3.99. They had a huge sale at the Academy out in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I just tore them up. I got about 9 of them, and I only paid about, well, I got some other stuff too, but I only paid about $25 for all those and some plastic worms. So, anyways, next on the list is the Hunch, and this lure, it pissed me off when I first got it, but at the end of the day, I really like it for special situations because it says it's a suspending bait, but it really doesn't suspend, it sinks, which is a good thing, believe it or not, depending on how it is. But I mean, if it says suspending, especially where I was fishing, because you got a whole bunch of moss on the ground, and you drop that lure into it, you're going to get all that moss in there. It's going to mess up the action of the lure. But besides that, kept it up above the moss. Had to go a little faster than I usually like to do, especially whenever the water was a little bit cold. I still got bites, but with the legit suspending hard bait, I wasn't getting as many bites as I was with this thing. And that actually broke, and I'm really mad about that. But anyways, okay, here it is right here. I got an Abu Garcia Venturas rod. It's a 7-foot heavy with 17-pound fluoro. This is my swim bait rod on an Abu Garcia Revo winch 4541. I love this reel. This thing can cast a country mile, and it doesn't break the bank, and I like it. I like it a lot. But this is the Hunch right here, and I had the hunch that this is going to be a fish catching machine. A hunch. But yes, there's actually a fish on a bed up here, and there's another lure from this box. I was throwing the jig, which I'm about to go to that next actually, but I was throwing that at it. I was throwing a lizard at it. I was throwing a worm at it, trying to get this fish to bite. And here's the thing about fishing: you got to see what the fish are doing. You got to pay attention to what the fish are doing, because if you could figure out what they're doing, you're going to catch them. And this is where it comes into play, because I did not catch them that soon enough. Anyways, so I was throwing all my plastics out there and everything like that. He was just looking at them. He wasn't doing nothing. He just swam away. But perch were swimming by, and he would automatically, instinctively go for those and chase them off. Instinctively, like, I mean, he didn't think about it or nothing. He was gone, going, boogity, and getting him out of there. So I was fishing this fish for about an hour and a half. I actually walked around the pond a couple times, just, looking for some more, because, it's pre-spawn, and not all of them are up on the beds. I think the whole day I only saw 2 on beds. One at the pond I was at, where I caught this one, and another one at the pond up north, but he really wasn't dedicated to the spot yet. Which, I mean, he hasn't fanned anything out. I mean, that's where he was going to spawn. That was his area, and he just really wasn't. He was hanging around, but he didn't have a specific spot yet. But he's probably there now. Anyways, this guy, since it's slowly suspending, I mean, since it's supposed to be suspending, but it doesn't, it actually sinks. It doesn't sink like that. It's a real slow, subtle sink, which is nice. So it is technically somewhat suspending. But I threw this thing out there. I reeled it in on top of his bed, and I just slowly let it sink, just like this. And he came, and he stopped, and he looked. He started gilling a little bit. He actually came up behind it and nudged it a little bit, and it kicked it a little bit more. And he followed it down, and as soon as that thing hit the bottom, as soon as these treble hooks hit the bottom, and it went down like that, he came off to the side of it, nudged it again, and then just boom, got it. Set the hook. He was a pretty good 3-pound bass, so he was a nice little fish. Yeah, I really do like that lure. When I first got it, I didn't like it, but now I like it for those special situations. And I'm probably going to be throwing that thing quite more throughout the spawn now, just for those little situations. Because, like I said, that bass, I threw it at him. I was throwing my jigs at him. I was throwing my worms at him. I'm talking about at him. Because I've caught a lot of fish like that on beds. You'll have the fish that don't want to do nothing with it. They don't look it, so you start chasing them around with that lizard or that worm, that jig, and you start popping them in the head. And eventually they're going to get mad and bite it. Anyways, so I do like that lure now. Okay, and this is the jig I was talking about. It's actually a swim jig, but a jig is not a jig, but it's a jig. It's a 3/8 jig. I was throwing this on the bed too, and he wanted nothing to do with this. I mean, he would come by, look at it, take off, and do his whole other thing. I'm really not a big fan of swim jigs, just because where I've been fishing, which is Lake Fork, and you know, you go into a stump field or something like that, you come up to a weed line that looks really fishy. I've done it before. You start throwing open hook things and you start reeling it in, you get caught up on a stump or something like that, and you got to go troll all the way up there to get it because you lodged it up in there and you tore up your fishing spot. So that's why I'm really not a big fan of swim jigs, but I will throw them if it's a clear place, which most of the ponds and lakes up here it seems like are pretty mostly clear. They just got a lot of vegetation in them whenever the summer comes along. So I'll definitely be throwing these quite a bit up here for sure. But down in East Texas, I mean, it's in my arsenal, but it's not one of my go-tos. I'll get to my go-tos here next, actually. But no, I mean, it's a pretty good little jig. They give you little toothpicks right here so you can put a trailer on there and you can wedge it in there. I don't know how that's going to play out with me, because what I usually do is I'll put a worm on there and I'll back it off a little bit, put a drop of super glue right there and put the worm on top. It keeps everything right there together, and it just makes things a little bit more solid, because a toothpick, you can run it through there, and the next thing you know, you split the worm nose in half or something like that, and they can just fall right off. So I'm not saying, you know, it's not a bad idea. It's a pretty good idea, but it's just something I wouldn't do. Okay. Next on the list is a frog. They call this a combat frog. I guess it looks pretty combat-y, I guess you could say. But no, I do love throwing me some frogs on top of some weed lines or something like that. The one thing that I'm going to do to this is I'm going to go ahead and put 2 rattles in here, just to make it a little bit more noise, because I know coming over top of the water, especially with the legs, is going to make that popping noise. Not really much of a popper noise, but a noise. So that's going to be nice. And if you throw some rattles in there, you get the high click in there also, depending on what kind of BBs you use. You're going to get a high click or a dull click. And just drop 2 of those in there. It'll add some more weight. It'll disturb the weeds a little bit more, so they can see it a lot better. They can see the weeds moving, that there's something in there. And also, if you throw that audible noise in there, if they can't see the weeds moving, and if they're coming up feeding, they can hear it, they can look for it, and they can get it. Or you put it over top of a pocket or on the edge of a weed line and just pop, 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 pop. Move those weeds around, get that high clicking noise, and if there's a fish there that's, you know, really not feeding, if you do it just right, he will get tired of seeing it, he'll get tired of hearing it, and he'll come up and just blow it up. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about this thing. I can't wait for the weather to start warming up a little bit whenever the frogs really start coming out and start tearing this thing up, man. Ooh, I'm excited about this. Okay, then the J-bug. Another plastic. I love me some plastic worm fisherman. I'm a plastic worm fisherman at heart. This is all I like to throw, really, is plastics. This right here, I really want to know what the buoyancy is on this thing. I haven't really done a water test on it yet, because this is something I look like I would use. I would punch weeds with this thing, or I would fish it weightless. Just depending on how buoyant it is, and kind of, you know, just let it slowly fall, get that tail fluttering a little bit, and then just pop, 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 jerk, 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 jerk. You know, move it probably about like a couple inches at a time or something like that. And if the bass sees that in high pressure skies and it's really slow moving, they'll just come up out of that weed line and pop it, eat it, because it's a big looking bait. There's a lot of meat on this thing. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to catch me a couple big ones on this. I'm really excited about this. I'm just really waiting to see how it fishes. Okay, but yeah, that is the V&M J-Bug in Watermelon Red. It's a pretty good color. I do like throwing me the greens and stuff like that, but my favorite go-to color is black and blue. Any combination of black and blue, really. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that, too. And then the next thing I got were these little treble hooks right here. They're tiny. They're 8/0. And there's 6 of them. They're made by Mustad. KVD Elite Series, so you know they're good. Well, yeah, no. I mean, they look like good little hooks. I'm not going to put these on any of my hard baits, because to me, they're way too dang small for this. But, you know, I'll probably put this in my little catfish box whenever me and my buddies just decide to go to a pond and hang around, just sit on the bank and throw some weenies out. These would be good little hooks for that. I mean, they come pretty sharp, too. I've already done a little sharp test on them, and they're pretty sharp. They're grabby. And another thing I got was a popper. Poppers, I really don't throw that much because I've never really had good luck with them. So, I mean, I do like how this one rattles. I don't know if you can hear that. You can probably hear that's pretty loud. I do like the fact that it rattles because I've never thrown a popper with rattles. But since this one's got rattles, I'm going to start throwing this one a little bit. It comes in a, what color is this? Doesn't have color on it. It says eruption. This is an eruption colored popper. Now what color is this? I mean, it looks like a little baby bass. That's the most I can get off it. It's got a nice little skirt trailer on it. A little bit of red up in there. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna throw this thing around a little bit, see how it goes. Probably throw it on the edge of a weed line and pop, 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 pop. See how it goes from there. Just, I don't know, poppers, they've never really turned me on. I've never been a popper fisherman. I do like me some topwater fishermen with buzz baits, frogs, and stuff like that. I can do that all day. But poppers, just the whole action of pop, pop, stuff like that, it'll wear you out pretty quick. And kind of at the end of the day, if I've been up all morning, the last thing I want to do is throw a popper. So just because I'm already worn out, but I will. But I mean, I'm going to give it a shot. If anybody has any advice on really how to fish a popper, go ahead and send me some information, please. That'd be highly appreciated. And if you have any questions that pertains to worm fishing, like I said, I'm a huge worm fisherman. I've been doing it ever since I was 5. So, you know, I've caught a lot. That's for pretty much maybe 3/4 of my fish that come up from is off worm fishing. So really not much of hard plastics. So, and my personal best right now is about 8 pounds, but I've hooked some pretty good ones. I just haven't been able to land them because either A, my line will snap, or B, they'll get off. And it's, whoa. You get a 12-pounder on line, he snaps that thing, it is. And then your dad comes up right next to you 30 minutes later and pulls out an 11.5-pounder. It's like yeah. Lake Fork, that's Lake Fork for y'all. Get the opportunity to go out there, you can go out there and catch some big fish. But, yeah. Anyways, I'd like a little bit of help with that. Well, this concludes my YouTube video. Like I said, this is my first video. If anybody's got any advice on how to make it better, a little bit more interesting, or if I need to tone it down on some things a little bit, it'll be highly appreciated. Like I said, all inputs appreciated. I'll give you some output as well, what I think is good. You do the same for me too. Just be fair, have a good time, and let's catch some fish.